Hi everyone, I hope you guys are having an amazing Sunday. Did you guys have an amazing weekend? I really hope you had an incredible time. So today, energetically, it's just been pretty loud, right, this weekend. So I'm really anxious to see what you guys have been hearing, what you guys have been tapping into. I am using a new kind of interface here on Facebook where we are. Let's see, what am I doing here? Where I cannot see who is speaking. Hey, Saeed, how are you? Great to see you. So let's see. We're going to play it out. We're going to see how it works, okay? I'm really excited to connect with you guys, and I can't wait to chat. So I have a couple of things that I want to talk about today. This morning, I was invited into Alba's group. She does this really awesome group for her hypnosis clients where we go in and we chat. It was really awesome to be a part of that. So if you are a client of Alba Weinman or you work with her, check it out. It's really, really nice. It's great to connect with her. And we got into some beautiful topics about the retreat in Peru and some other events that had happened and people that had been going through major awakening and these channeled information coming in. So it's a really fun time. And one of the things that came up that was very interesting, we talked about in meditation, what happens when we're falling asleep. We fall asleep too much when we're meditating. So I'm going to take today, the first part of today, we're going to focus on that as a topic, but I also want to answer your questions. I've been receiving some amazing questions this week. Some of you that have been following along in the meditation. So I'm going to take some time and answer your questions. I have a list of a couple of them. And if you have questions about meditations that we've been doing, please go ahead and put them in the message below and let's talk about it, okay? So let's talk about what happens when we fall asleep and we're meditating. Saeed, good, thanks. You look great, speaker. We should talk. I'd love to talk with you, Saeed. That sounds great. I'd be very happy to. So let's talk about what happens when we are about to meditate. We're about to sit down and we find a comfortable spot and all of a sudden we begin to fall asleep. And every time that we find that connection to sit down and meditate, the body just is really relaxed and really just drifts off. And some of you really struggle with that because in meditation, we need to be connected with the body. But what happens when we are disconnected from the body and then we can't sit and do the work that we want to do the work for longer than maybe 30 minutes or, an hour? Ideally, meditation we should do in the morning, right? The first time we wake up because we're nice and alert. And also, vibrationally, it sets the intention and it shifts and helps you align your entire body and your intention for the day with awareness. And that's kind of what we want to do. We want to embody the awareness. Yesterday, we talked about embodying the new human, which means somebody that is going to be living in a state of consciousness, awareness all the time. And so meditation is going to be a key element in building that strong foundation that we need to come into right now. So when we're coming into meditation and we begin to feel so relaxed that we're about to fall asleep, a couple things are happening to you energetically. And I wanted to explain that to you in detail here because I get that question all the time. People always email me, Geraldine, I cannot email, I cannot meditate, I cannot focus, I cannot calm myself down and do the work that you're suggesting because as soon as I sit down to meditate, I just, I check out. So here's what's happening. When we don't meditate, you have to remember that you are a multidimensional being. And as a multidimensional being, we're constantly working with the information that is in the body, physical and non-physical. Okay, I talk a lot about that. So what happens when we are not focused on the information on a daily basis? We have an accumulation of a lot of things, and we're not aware or observant of our emotions and the triggers that cause those emotions. And that's actually a lot of work for the body. It's a very silent internal dialogue that occurs within the body, and you may not realize it. You might not even know. Earlier this week, I did a video on truth and lying to ourselves. There is a certain communication and dynamic that happens when we are triggered by something external. And unless we are aware of that trigger that's causing us an emotion, those things can be very subtle, and they can really cause the body to be in a constant state of trigger, coming in and out of these trigger points where we are emitting emotional expression. And sometimes we can come into a rage, or we can, feel confused about how we're supposed to respond to something. Every single moment when we're not aware is going to be like a candle in the wind, being blown from right to left, based on what's happening around us. And so on an energetic level, that's exhausting. It's exhausting for the body. It's exhausting for the multidimensional body, because we are constantly moving in and out of these kinds of energy, right? These states of mind, states of emotions. And so when we have these imbalanced exchanges with our experiences, then the body becomes drained. And that's why a lot of us, especially the empaths, the ones that are extremely sensitive, we are all, empathic. We're all psychic and feeling. But some of us are even more connected with that aspect of ourselves, but don't know how to have healthy boundaries and proper exchanges. Then we are completely drained out of our energy immediately when we meet someone, or when we go to a crowded space. And so all of this is kind of like what I call an emotional stress. It's like a spiritual stress that is accumulated and stagnant in the body. Okay. And it plays a huge role in how we store information that stagnates over time. When we are in denial of our emotions and our expressions, or how we react to triggers, we are, kind of resisting those emotions, because we haven't taken a moment to really observe ourselves in these different trigger points. We haven't taken a moment to really check in and become aware. The whole point of consciousness, of all of this work as a soul in this temporary physical body, is that we become aware as infinite consciousness, becoming aware of itself through all possibilities. And so all these experiences that we're having is basically causing us to really feel an exhaustion, a drainage of energy. And the drainage of energy, when these exchanges happen through cords, energetic cords that connect us to anyone that we interact with. The interaction can be something so simple as connecting with someone that's there, or connecting with thinking about someone is an energetic cord. You're tapping in to a cord that's connecting to you energetically. And so whether you know it or not, there is an exchange that is occurring there. That's why when you cut cords with someone, you can really feel it. And so can they. They can feel it. Sometimes my clients write to me and they tell me when I cut cords, I get a phone call the next few minutes. And that's absolutely right. That's what happens when we move that energy. Everything is vibrational frequency. It's one of the most easiest ways to become aware of how real the connections are between us, is working with these cords, okay? But we have to always have the proper intention and awareness when we do any kind of work, whether it's meditation for yourself, or you begin to do some work in your ancestral lineage in your family. It's extremely important that your awareness and your intention behind everything is really in alignment with your consciousness and what is in alignment with you. Okay, and becoming aware of that is going to take time, and it's going to take practice. And the only time you can do that is by sitting down and meditating with your body, connecting with your body, becoming familiar with the dialogue that occurs between the human body and the mind and the emotions. This is something that's human body 101. It's something that we should learn at an early age. Okay, so let's go to the next topic. What happens then when we're sitting in meditation and we are finally sitting down to do the work, but we just cannot sustain our attention on our body in the meditation, and you check out? So what's happened is that all of these exchanges energetically that we've been moving throughout our day, week, months, since the last time you've meditated, are all accumulated in the body. Don't forget that the muscle has a holographic storage systems. The entire body, every layer of the body is a hologram that is storing information. And so when we don't process emotion, that's energy that becomes stagnant in the body. So when you finally sit down, and depending on how you are, if you're somebody that needs to fidget all the time, it's because that energy that's stagnant, that hasn't been made aware, you haven't been made aware or brought awareness to those aspects of yourself, are going to be really moving through your body. And that's why some of you are more fidgety than others. That stillness is going to be very difficult for you at first. And when you sit down, you are made to really feel and experience it. And sometimes it's so much that what the body does is it wants to check out and it needs rest. The body innately knows what it needs. And so in its mind, if it can take you out of body so that you can recover, you can rest, to try to bring you back into awareness, that this is where we begin to work on other planes of existence, other dimensions, right? Like dream time. The work that you're not doing in waking time, the energetic work, and becoming aware in waking time is going to happen in dream time. A lot of you have dreams, and they can be something that's completely silly. It can be you at a bread store or walking on the beach, something so simple, but the symbolism behind that will, if you meditate with it and if you become more aware, you're going to notice that there's a lot of symbolism and messages that the subconscious mind is providing you through that. And sometimes these things can be healing. Some of them can be messages to help you refocus on the aspects of yourself that need attention. So when you sit in meditation, the amount of energy that's coming in and flowing through your body, you are becoming familiar with it. It takes some time. So we need to sit down with that and really focus on reconnecting with the body. Okay. And so it takes a time where we are sitting, connecting with every single part of the body. You guys can practice Vipassana meditation, TI meditation, any meditation that helps you sit with your body in stillness to create a discipline with the sometimes overwhelming energies that come into the body that really make you want to check out. And another level of this is, let's take it a step deeper. What happens if the physical body is now, okay, we're now sitting with the body, but still it's very difficult for us to be going into a state of meditation. There are also cases in which the body could be a host for entities and attachments. And of course, entities and attachments are thought forms. So are attaching and feeding off certain thought forms, right? So anytime that we have and are storing these kinds of thought forms in the body that we've not been aware of, it's also feeding these beings that are taking energy from you by distracting you, moving you away from the awareness of the physical body. And so that's also another thing that we need to take into consideration. And a lot of times people that really have a chronic time, they cannot connect with their body. It's impossible for them to connect with your body. This is what I would suggest looking into, because it could very well be that you are a host for entities. And really, a lot of us are, holding on to parasitic consciousness that's feeding off aspects of ourselves, because any time that we move away from the awareness of our body, anything can come in. There's all life forms, and we live in this, in polarity. There is the light, there is the dark, and everything has to be cohabiting with one another. But the human body is such an incredible multidimensional organism, and we are moving in and out of dimensions at all times, that our awareness of this multidimensional body really, really needs to be honed. It needs to be practiced. We need to create a discipline, and we need to really focus and set the intention that we are connecting with the body. Otherwise, you become a host to all kinds of things. And that goes into another topic, whether it's mind control, whether it's parasites, entities, attachments, walk-ins, all of these things can be results of you not wanting to be in your body. And then we can simplify it, even emotions that don't belong to you as empaths. I talk a lot about that. You are not aware of your energetic body, so you go into a toxic environment and you become a sponge. You pull in all of that. And over time, you don't know if that depression or that low frequency emotion is yours or it belongs to other people. And so again, the awareness, what allows you to shed light on those aspects of taking on things that don't belong to you. Okay, so in meditation, as we're working through these processes, your awareness is going to be essential, important to making sure that you are working with the physical body, creating the environment that you need. And at first, you're probably going to want to create an environment, all of these things. But in reality, we should be in a state of meditation at all times, because what is meditation? Meditation is awareness. Okay, it's awareness. And the awareness has to pull in from the time that you're becoming disciplined and learning how to come into that awareness. Meditation is the training of that. Okay, you're training yourself to become aware of yourself. And as you connect with your body, whether you do a body scan or you get deeper into some energy work or start working with your emotions to peel layers of programming, each one of those layers are going to help you go deeper into a state of meditation. My clients are people that sometimes have the hardest time meditating, but in the session, they're always going to go in where they need to go because it's guided. And so maybe guided meditation would be a wonderful tool for you to utilize. And as we train the body to calm and reconnect, we are showing it, teaching it, right? Every step of the way, we're teaching it how to talk to this body, okay? And it takes some training. Very good. So those are a couple, topics that I wanted to touch when it comes to meditation and when it comes to, falling asleep. As I mentioned in the group earlier today, once you get over that hump, once you get over the hump of meditating and wanting to leave the body, a lot of us, it's not just in meditation. If you do that in meditation, you do that in real life, in your waking life, in your life when you're out at work, when you're driving in a car and you're zoning out, when you're at work and you're not even aware of your body, you're constantly leaving your body. So the lack of awareness is really something that really comes out into your behavior all the time. So if you know that, then in order to help yourself in meditation, take time throughout your day to be present all the time. The acronym that I created called GPAC, grounding to the center of the earth, protecting your energetic body, or becoming aware of your energetic body. Again, awareness is the key to protection and to this consciousness that is required for every human, right? And alignment, right? The chakra system is in alignment, which means that your perception, your emotions are controlled and you are aware of where they're at in any moment. So you're not always at cause reacting to the things that happen, but you are, in effect, you are aware of how you're going to respond to things by understanding the situation, okay? And finally, creating your crown chakra. You are consciously co-creating, and that's the next level. When a human being is not conscious, is not aware, it becomes a puppet for the system. It becomes a puppet for the society and all of these things that feed and benefit off unconscious people that don't take a moment to check in with themselves. And so this is the entire concept of the Matrix is built on the idea that when we fall asleep, when we're not aware of our body, then we can easily be manipulated, mind controlled, used, for any number of things. And one day you wake up and you say, I don't agree with any of that, really. I don't even know why I behaved that way. It's because we weren't aware, right? So this is the concept of consciousness. Any living organism, any human that comes in and incarnates in this cyclical reincarnation cycle, their job between that womb until death is an invitation to become aware and to come into that sovereignty as this soul, instead of coming into that reincarnation cycle where they're in and out, going into experience fear, maybe a couple lifetimes, anger, resentment, all these little emotions that are being managed and drained by the first three chakras, are manipulated because we're not aware of how we are, interacting with our exchanges as conscious beings or unconscious beings. So it's really important. And this level of awareness really goes beyond just this lifetime. It goes into dream time. With lucid dreaming, you become aware that you're dreaming, and it goes into even death. Okay? Because everything in itself is kind of like this opportunity for awareness. That's why we're here as infinite consciousness, becoming aware of all possibilities. We become aware of ourselves in waking time. We become aware of ourselves in dream time and even in death. And from there, that level of conscious awareness can dictate and design the experience of yourself as this soul, this fractal of infinite consciousness, to other possible dimensions. You don't have to be just in this physical plane for eternity. You can choose to experience other things. And that's really when the human, the soul, then really can apply its free will. Okay, that's the only time it can actually apply its free will, is through awareness. So this kind of understanding is necessary for you to understand as this soul having this human experience. Very good. So I'm going to answer a couple questions because I received some great questions this week. So let me open them. And if you guys have any questions, please put them here in the message. So good to see you guys. Hello. What a welcome to see you guys. Let me open these questions that I kind of, I screenshotted them. And I want to make sure I answer them. Okay. So Raluca Sirbu had a really great question, and she was asking, I want to thank you for this beautiful meditation and the knowledge that you share with us. I have a curiosity. Does every color have a significance in general, or is it personal interpretation based on the individual? I was thinking about this since I was attracted to red most of my life. I still am, although green is starting to gain terrain. However, none of these colors appeared to me as my creative color on the screen. She was doing one of our meditation practices where we identify the vibrational signature of the body. And the vibrational signature of the body is basically the color frequency of your whole self, what you need in order to come into your highest expression. And so she says, the color that came up actually is a different one. And that's when I started wondering if they have a general significance or not, because I don't know exactly how to interpret them. So that's a really great question. And just in that, you kind of is the answer, really. Yes, color is vibrational frequency. We talked yesterday about the different languages of vibrational frequency, right? The language is how it's being interpreted through the different dimensions, how it's interpreted through our different senses. So we're going to receive information from different ways. And color is the way that we can receive and how light bounces off things to give us the information of what that is, of its depth, of its range, of wavelength. And so all of that is providing us with information. Now, yes, in meditation, when you sit down and do your meditation, I would invite you to check in and learn about what colors represent for you. As a matter of fact, in one of my training courses, I make you sit down and you write down what each vibrational, what emotion, what color it looks like. Okay. And this is a really great beginning way to learn about vibrational frequency through color. What you're going to find, and it's great to do it in a group, is that as you're identifying the colors to the emotion, a couple things are happening. Your entire body is becoming aware of the emotions in your body, and you're translating it through this language of color. Okay. And every single emotion has a vibration. Every emotion that is in the body is organized within the chakra system, but it's a complex, it's like an algorithm that is designed to transport specific information. An emotion can be complex. There could be subconscious programs that are feeding into an emotion. And so a real true emotion would be the original program producing the output. Okay. So for example, if you have a smile on your face, but on the inside you feel unworthy or insecure or something like that, what's actually speaking is the root emotion, not the smile on your face. So this kind of understanding of yourself is going to be done through, again, meditation and sitting and becoming aware of vibrational frequency language, which is what you do when you connect with your body and you become aware of identifying that. So if you sit with yourself and you sit with fear, what color is it to you? Write it down. And in a group, what I've seen time and time again is that most people have similar colors for them. Okay. And it could be a couple things, conditioning. But the thing is this, where did that conditioning come from? Marketing spends millions of dollars designing logos, their campaigns, television shows, products based on this understanding of color theory. It is an incredible science, really, that talks about how vibrational frequency, when it bounces off something, it produces in us a certain emotion. It stimulates that emotion because that's a vibrational pattern of information that we are feeling, we're learning. Okay, so it's very important to become aware of that. And it's an unspoken language that we become. It's a new language that we need to become aware of, okay? Because it's part of awareness in this three-dimensional plane. You also are becoming aware of your surroundings, and you begin to realize how we are manipulated or how we are made to feel in certain events and certain experiences based on our environment. When you go into a restaurant, are you more stimulated to eat because they put red color all around? When you go to a hospital, how do you feel in a hospital because everything's green or white? Okay, so it's important. That's a part of becoming aware. And just the way that you can become aware of color in your surroundings, you can also shift and change events. When you're preparing to go to the court, for example, if you know how to use color therapy, you can visualize changing your color so that your frequency is changing. Your frequency is changing. So you are emitting a certain frequency that will change how you interact with the people around you and how events come out. Okay. And that's very important. It's not so simple, but you can learn about that in one of my classes, or we can talk about that in another video. But anyway, that was a very great question. Thank you so much for asking that question, Raluca. Okay, Crystal Gallic Grewal asked a question. Hi, Crystal, if you're here. Okay, I can think of one thing right now. How do I go back to the original event? In meditation, I have so many traumas that I don't know where to start, and then I get overwhelmed. I can pick one, but do I need to go back to all of them? I cannot remember them. There's thousands of events for me to shift through. And this is true for all of us, right? We have thousands of events in our lives that cause us triggers. So what she's asking, in a practice, I had you guys go back to the past week, the past month, the past year, and take a look at the different triggers that come up, becoming aware of your triggers just over the 24 hours, the past week, the past month, the past year. And the work is in identifying, is that trigger reoccurring? Is that something that happens all the time? Okay. And as you become aware of that, of the trigger, and you become aware of the trigger through emotion, and it could be something that you feel right this minute. Okay. So this moment, you could be sitting there and you just have this weird feeling of feeling uncomfortable. Okay, so now you tap into that emotion and you begin to become aware that this feeling of uncomfortable is because there's someone in the room that's, doing something. And as you become more aware, you realize that what they're doing is making you feel threatened or insecure or something like that. And as you begin to peel the layers of this experience, you realize that this is a very real trigger for you. So the work is in taking that emotion, just that little emotion, and going back to the origin of when you first experienced this in your life, because that's going to be the first time where the programming occurred. Now, some of us have gone through a tremendous amount of trauma. So we have blocked off a lot of very traumatic experiences in our life, and that's just, we go into flight or flight mode, and sometimes the brain kind of suppressed those memories, and it's difficult to get back to those memories. Or some of us have experienced so much trauma that it's one big blur. Okay, how do you access the information in those events? What you'll realize after going through all of your life and revisiting that trigger over and over again is that really we are a product of one or two that are the exact same thing, okay? And all of these emotions, because there are many, many emotions. You can name it, fear, anxiety, and I'm talking about heavy or low vibration emotions. There's a lot of them: insecurity, doubt, fear, hate, anger, helplessness. The root of all of these emotions is always going to begin with fear, okay? With a fear. And so it's important to understand the dualistic or the polarities in our emotional ranges are two: fear and love. So if you can remember that, when you're working with these, you'll realize that the first layer of the emotion is going to be it's going to be the one that you feel triggered in the present moment. But as you begin to peel the layers and go down into the secondary and tertiary emotions, you're going to begin to realize that what's at the root of those emotions is always going to be fear. And these are complex thought forms that the fear was either there to protect you, or the fear is there to help you feel empowered. It can be utilized, the mind and the body will utilize that in many different ways based on the experience that you have in order to either preserve or protect yourself. Okay, but it's preserving and protecting itself due to an incomplete perception. Okay, or a lack of tools in that moment. Again, the lack of awareness. Okay, that's what it comes down to, is a lack of awareness. And when we're kids, when we're children growing up in these environments that are sometimes toxic, we don't have all the tools. Not just us, we're not expected to have the tools, but our parents don't have the tools. So how would we be able to learn what's the proper action for an emotion or an experience that is very traumatic? And so the healing occurs when we go back to these memories and become aware of the tools that are there. And one of the most powerful things is realizing that the human in itself is the sole healer of all possible traumas and experiences. Within us lies the ability to heal absolutely everything. Within us lies the truth of all experiences. Okay? So this is something that takes some work. And it doesn't mean that you have to go back to all the memories, because when you realize that that fear was caused by this trauma, you begin to understand something. And the lesson as humans in this physical plane, in this physical body, is one. How do we reintegrate? How do we become whole again? We believe we have the illusion of separation, which is what fear is. Okay, fear is the illusion of separation, thinking that we are incomplete, that we're whole, that we're broken, that we're not whole, that we're broken, that we are not enough, not good enough, not lovable. All of these programs that are the output of fear that was caused by an exchange is what causes us to believe something that isn't true. Not only is it not true in that event, but it's not true in your design as this infinite consciousness, as this multidimensional body. Your blueprint is infinite consciousness. So just because you come into this three-dimensional plane to experience separation doesn't mean that you are separation. It means that we need to return from separation into wholeness. And that's the whole point of ourselves incarnating in this three-dimensional plane to begin with. We become whole again. Okay, and so that's really what this work is about. And so take time with yourself. When I went through all this work myself, I mean, there were days where I would spend 4 or 5 hours on one memory, because I would really need to go deep into every aspect to really understand myself. Why was I the way I was? Why did other people behave the way they behaved with me? Why did I believe the things that I believed about myself? So it takes time to do that, and find the time, because if you don't find the time, my loves, these programs, these triggers, we become slaves of these belief systems that are not true. And we end up living a life of a lie, of an illusion, of pain, of suffering, and of illness. And so where our empowerment, truly the superhuman, comes into play is the moment they realize that they are love, they are whole, they are complete, they are not incomplete. Okay, and so that's the work. This is what it's about. It's going to take time. You're going to have to sit down. You're going to have to meditate, but please do it. And this is the time, you guys. Okay, so thank you so much, Crystal, for that question. It's an amazing question. And of course, as you know, I help with DNA reprogramming. So if you need some more help, if you need some more guidance, please reach out to me. Very happy to hold space and help you get there. Okay, because I know sometimes it can be hard to get there. Okay, so let me see who else had an amazing question. Let's see. Anushi had an amazing question. I don't know if Anushi's here. If you're here, say hi, Anushi. Love you very much. Okay, Anushi, and I'm going to get to the questions in the messages in just a moment, please. So she tells me her brother argues with her. So she says that she tells him that meditation is to work on trauma and blockages. And he replied, "Why do you want to believe that you have blockages and trauma? You're absolutely fine," he said. "If we are believing that we have blockages and trauma, this means that we are somewhere, we somehow don't believe in ourselves and think negatively about ourselves." He said, "Why you want to become that which you're not?" He said, "Just be in the present and don't think negative about yourself so much." I don't agree with him totally, but the day I started practicing meditation, I believed and accepted that I am so much in pain and suffered a lot, and that feeling always overwhelmed me, that I'm not good enough, and have lots of problems. The day I realized I'm struggling to overcome from those victim emotions, it feels like it has become internal fight. He also said, you're a very emotional person to balance, so you need to keep practicing practicality instead of going into another world. He have strong points. What do you have to say about this? So that's an amazing question. Very well thought out, and it means that you're really doing the work. The question is, how do I transcend this feeling of all of these negative emotions that come up, which I've now had to sit with? So I did the emotion, I sat down, I did the work, and now I have all of these aspects of myself come up, which I cannot, which are difficult to manage. So right then and there, he says, why would you stir all of that up? And the thing is this, it depends what you want to work on. What do you want to experience in this lifetime? Free will belongs to everyone. So you have the free will choice to choose whether you want to, what you want to experience and how. Number one. Number two, the point of meditation is, again, awareness. I talked about that. So you can sit all your life and ignore all of the things that have occurred in your lifetime and practice Vipassana meditation or TI meditation. I've had a lot of clients that have worked with TI meditations for 40 plus years, and they tell me I have not been able to progress spiritually or to become more conscious with 40 years of transcendental meditation as I was able with this kind of work. And the reason why is because, yes, that other meditation is good. It's wonderful to help you become aware and work with yourself and discipline the body into the present moment. But the thing is, in the present moment, we are a product of ourselves. You cannot deny the pain and suffering that you've gone through. So we have to work through that. And as those emotions and programs create who you are, they also defined your environment, your family. Those programs and those ancestral emotions, they programmed you to come into this lineage that you're now a part of. And your vibrational expression of yourself, if you're not aware of yourself on all of these aspects of yourself and why you are that way, they are going to be manifested into your life. So if you have a program that is a fear-based program that you're not good enough, even if you practice being in the present moment, what happens when the trigger comes up and somebody says you're not good enough and you begin to feel that emotion? How do you work with that emotion? Okay, so this kind of work is going deeper, and it's going deeper into the programming that creates the pain and suffering to begin with. And that kind of pain and suffering doesn't go away by ignoring it. We have to address it. It can be very convenient for those around us and even for ourselves to ignore all of the things that we have gone through in our lifetime that cause pain and suffering, but it's going to come up. It's going to come up, and it builds our character, it builds who we are, and sometimes we end up being a stagnant expression of ourselves without even knowing. And it really takes a deep amount of awareness and a powerful self-love to pull ourselves out of that darkness and into the full expression of who you are. See, our potential is so massive. And as I mentioned yesterday, we are coming into a new human now. The idea of the human that is the puppet of a system doesn't work anymore. The idea of a human that suppresses their power and who they really are doesn't work anymore. So that kind of heavy work has to come into play for us to really come up as an expression. And it's happening for ourselves as a collective. The whole world is doing that. That's the whole point of awareness. It's like shining light into those dark crevices that have been hiding for so many years of things that are not pro-life, things that are causing harm, companies that are profiting off the pain and suffering of the human race. Okay. okay, and suffering for our children. We feed them garbage because that's all we're taught. At the schools, they're being fed garbage. What they're watching, they're being given computer games. So they have now become computer. That's all they know. They only know the black screen. So, this level of awareness, this is a conscious awakening. It's not pretty. It's not comfortable. It's not what we thought it was. If you think it's rainbows and sunshines, we're living in the wrong paradigm. You're not looking at how things are, because in order for something to heal, that wound has to get out all of the infection. The infection that's causing the illness to begin with has to come out. And the infection, that parasitic consciousness, is the belief that we are not powerful and that we are not whole. And it doesn't mean that you have to go back and painfully relive all of those experiences in this present moment. It means that you need to become aware that you are not that pain, and that pain doesn't define you. And the only way you're going to do that is by observing those moments, okay? So accepting, observing, accepting, processing, forgiving, thanking, and moving on. The only way you're going to be able to move on is by accepting and forgiving yourself, forgiving the other person. It's an incredible transformative exchange. And the forgiveness doesn't have to be for the other person. It's for yourself, because in this body, look at the pain and suffering that you're holding on to. It's time to let that go. We don't need to hold on to that suffering. What does it take for you to understand that your body doesn't deserve the suffering? It takes understanding. It takes reprogramming of the programs of pain and suffering that you have been taught through the trauma. So that is the work. Okay? It doesn't mean that we're just going to ignore it, or he's correct in being in the present moment. That's absolutely correct. But Anusha, I know you, and I know a lot of people that have gone through a tremendous amount of trauma. The kind of trauma that we're talking about here is a tremendous fragmentation, okay? And that fragmentation, as a soul, as a multidimensional being, has to be addressed. It has to be reintegrated in order for this person to become whole again. Okay, so that happens through the awareness and understanding that you are not that pain and suffering. You are this whole self. So there's so much more to this that I want to get into, but just very simply to give you a small answer to that. Another thing I want to add to this is we don't meditate to feel or get stuck in the pain. That's another misconception. I'm sorry, my hair's... When we meditate and we sit with our emotions that are difficult, we don't stay with them. You don't sit there and feel them. If you sit there and you feel them and feel them and feel them and feel them without coming into a state of observation, which is different. Feeling it in the body and observation is different. I bring you through this process so you become aware of the difference. When you are stuck in the feeling body, you're stuck with that emotion and you're constantly feeling it in your stomach. And it's like we almost become fascinated and addicted to pain, believe it or not. The body, because that's all it knows sometimes. All it knows is sadness and separation. So we keep feeling that emotion over and over again. We don't know how to get it out. The way to get it out is by observing it, by watching it. And as you watch it, as you bring your attention to the body, feeling the emotion, not as a victim, but as an empowered being of conscious awareness, you now look down at the body, experiencing this emotion, and what happens? You begin to realize that it dissipates. It dissipates, okay? And you are left with information, which is all that is. Emotions are tools. They're tools for awareness. They are not to be held in the body. If you hold on to that tool, how is it going to become useful for your journey? Okay, that defeats the purpose of utilizing the tool of awareness. That's all it is. So if you're sitting with those emotions and you haven't learned how to release them by becoming aware of them, by sitting them and observing them, then we're coming into this very sickening pattern of having emotions. And it means that we haven't accepted it, that we are in denial of allowing ourselves to feel that emotion, to become aware of that emotion, and to observe the emotion. Okay, so I'm going to stop there, but Anushi will talk some more. Okay, I hope this answered your question, and you're doing an amazing job. And please listen to yourself, do what's right for you, do what is best for you. That's, you don't listen to anyone else except yourself and what you need right here, right now, to help you come into your highest expression. Okay, my love, please remember that. All right, my love. So let me see if I can answer any other questions here. I am so grateful for you and so happy to be able to hang out with you guys. Cedric says, I was in the Army for 21 years. The military has the most skill for brainwashing techniques. Plus, I have a lifetime of negative attachments that I need to get rid of. Yeah, I completely understand. And those of you who have been in the Army, that is a great awareness. That is true. You know, we have to deal with post-traumatic stress from being in the Army and participating. But also, there's a tremendous amount of programming that we're going to have to undo. And again, all of the things that I talked about so far in this video really apply and speak to that too. So see if you can try to utilize those of becoming aware and of what's real. And at the end of the day, what we're trying to clarify in our perception is, you know, fear and love. Those are the two true emotions of this universe. They're the polar emotions of, and so when we integrate, when we become not afraid of our fear and our negative emotions, when we accept them as a part of us, not something that's separate from us, we can then work with them. We can work with them again as tools to become aware of ourselves. And through becoming aware of our own emotions, we learn about society. We learn about humans. We learn about this matrix. You're learning about the matrix from the inside out, because that's how it was designed in the first place. It knows your emotions. It knows how you function. It knows how to bring you into a place of suffering and fear in 1 second by saying one word, putting one little music note that triggers certain emotions. Like when you go to the movies, they design that to make you feel certain emotions. How do they know that? How come we don't know that? So the more we become aware of ourselves, we become empowered and embody that awareness. Jill, wow, this is what I have been taught by my guides, how colors and words hold power and how we are color through our frequency. That's absolutely correct. And the vibrational frequency, our signature that we identify, is exactly what is telling us that our body needs, our soul needs, in order to keep moving to the next level. And that's our crown chakra. And as you unpack more information, the color will change. Okay? The color will change and it'll tell you what you need to focus on next. That's the beauty of this incredible body that we have. Lorraine, hi from Lorraine from Toronto. Hi, so good to have you here. Stephanie, how lovely you are sharing this wisdom. Much love and gratitude. Thank you so much, Stephanie. It's so good to have you here too. Jill, Geraldine, I would love to run a workshop with you regarding sound, light, vibration, and the human portal of light, how to use their frequencies and what it means to be different frequency from another. We need to break the inner generational circuit boards. Absolutely. Yes. And I'm very happy to do that. Break the yoke. You have the power to remove it. So exciting. Love your work. Me too. I'm really happy to be doing that work with you. John Peel. Yes. Siobhan Khan. Exactly. It isn't rainbows and sunshine, but it's necessary. Yes. Thank you. Juan, beautiful what you're saying. Been thinking about that the whole day. We're just tapping into that communication. Jill, I jumped in late. Thank you for joining us, Jill. Susan. Hi, Susan. Jill. I will watch this. Thank you so much. Maria. Beautiful words, Soroka. Wrote you on WhatsApp. Awesome, Maria. I'm going to connect with you. Thank you guys so much. And let's jump into a meditation to do a total body reset. Okay? We're going to do a total realignment of the body. Thank you, Cedric. So let's inhale deeply. And exhale. We're going to align ourselves and clean the body from the day so that we can have a really nice rest, or this even works in the morning before you leave your day. So you're going to ground yourself down to the center of the earth. You're going to visualize your protective field around you, or your field of awareness. Everything inside of this bubble, inside of this sphere, is what we can control. Okay? Everything that's outside of that sphere, we cannot control. So becoming aware of what we are in control of. Okay? You're going to inhale deeply and exhale. We're going to quickly run through this really powerful cleansing of the body. You're going to start by closing the root chakra, red chakra all the way down, disconnecting from the physical plane. Inhale deeply and exhale. We're going to go up to the sacral chakra. You're going to close that chakra. Resetting the chakras as you close them. Inhale deeply and exhale. You're going to go up to the solar plexus. You're going to close that chakra. Disconnecting from the physical plane. Disconnecting the emotional body from any imbalanced aspects. Bringing the body in a state of calm, neutrality. You're going to go up to the heart chakra. You're going to open that heart chakra as wide as possible, opening the center for connection, activating the spiritual body. Going up to the throat chakra, you're going to open that chakra. You're going to go up to the third eye. You're going to open that chakra as wide as possible, opening the center for intuition. I want you to now inhale deeply and exhale. You are in reading state. Okay. You're going to see a blank screen in front of you, and you're going to see a color. This color represents your highest vibrational expression. Go ahead and see what color you see. If it's more than one color, that's okay. You're going to take that color. You're going to put it up in your crown chakra. Crown. And you're going to fill it in. We're going to fill it in every section, setting the intention that every aspect of our life is in alignment with our highest expression. We're going to align it with our work, with our career. Everything in order to align the body with total health. You're going to align it with finances, with abundance. You're going to align it with health, total body health, body, mind, and soul. With our relationships, our social, everything that has to do with our social interactions in life, family, friends, colleagues, partners, fill that in. The next is our spiritual work, your purpose. What did you come into this planet to incarnate to do? What did you come here for? Fill that in, setting the intention that everything you do from this moment forward is in alignment with that highest expression. You're going to inhale deeply and exhale. Very good. And we're going to go deeper. I want you to visualize a room that represents all of the karmic contracts that you've come into, family, friends, personal evolution programs, karmic contracts. I want you to see that room filled with those contracts. You're going to erase those contracts. I want you can blow them up, you can burn them up. Clear that room out until it's completely clean and empty. Clear it out, flush it out. This is you basically clearing out the multidimensional body from all of these stagnant programs. Okay. The quickest way to reset. You're going to inhale deeply and exhale. You're going to visualize now a color that represents healing, healing for your body. What color is that? What color is that? You're going to bring that color in from the center of the earth up into your body, into the center core, creating a vortex. Bring it in. Bring it into the body, swirling powerfully at your center core. Okay. From the universe, from source, you're going to bring down a powerful wave of gold energy that's going to combine with that healing energy in your body, making an even bigger vortex all around your body, front and back of your body. In this moment, you're going to visualize, you're going to breathe deeply, inhale and exhale. And I want you to visualize that any kind of cords that are connecting you to toxic people, toxic programs that you've been watching, your television, any kind of interactions that you've done today that have drained your energy or brought you in a state of feeling down or disconnected, I want you to visualize that this vortex is going to cut and disconnect you from those things, okay? You see, you are taking ownership of your energetic space, of your energetic awareness, okay? So bring it into the body. Okay. You're going to send 10% of that healing energy and gold energy back down to the center of the earth. This is a channel of elimination. So push down 10% of that energy. Push it down into the earth. Clear it out of your body. You don't need that in your body. You don't need that stagnant energy, those cords. Taking ownership of your body, taking ownership of your energy, of your exchanges. You're going to take 80% of that healing energy and gold energy, shoot it up your spine, and you're going to coat the outside of your protective field. Okay? Healing our ties to the matrix, any kind of relationships, people, places, and things that are deceptive, that are draining our energy externally. We sever all of those connections. Sever them. You don't need them. Okay. You're going to come back to the solar plexus. You're going to pull up that healing energy and that gold energy. Bring it up your spine, down your arms. Fill the inside of your sphere, okay? You're going to heal your body. And this is the most rejuvenating, re-energizing part of this exercise, that you're breathing in that healing energy into the body, nurturing the body. Visualize every pore of your body is breathing it into the core, into the flesh, the muscles, the bones, down to the cellular level of your body, absorbing it, healing the body. Down to the cellular level, okay? Down to the cellular level, you are healing your body. And this healing color is unique to you, okay? So this is your vibrational frequency. This is what you need. Your healing color might be different from your crown, and that's okay. Very good. So you're going to run this energy through the body. You're healing the 3 dimensions of the physical body, physical and non-physical. And I want you to visualize in this moment that as you're running it, you're eliminating any programs, any thought forms, any stagnant energy that's in the body. You're just taking it out, flushing it out. That's what you're doing right here. You're going to take some nice cleansing breaths. Letting go of your day, letting go of the weekend, getting ready for a new start tomorrow, a new week. Letting go of old emotions, old triggers. Letting go of being tired, sad. Some of you are feeling isolated. Let go of the illusion of separation. Let go of heaviness, heavy emotions, heavy thoughts. Let go of lies that we tell ourselves, that we're unworthy, we're not good enough, we're not complete, we're not ready enough, we're not intelligent enough. Let go of those lies. Very good. You're going to inhale deeply and exhale. And you're going to begin to fill yourself up with this feeling of love. You're going to open the root chakra back up, back into a balanced state. Open it up. The sacral, open it back up into a balanced state. The solar, open it up into a balanced state. The heart chakra, close it back into a balanced state. The throat chakra, close it back into a balanced state. The third eye, close it back into a balanced state. Okay. All your chakras are in perfect alignment right now. Becoming aware of yourself, becoming aware of your emotions. Being in control of your emotions. Okay. You're going to connect your crown up into the 8th. You're going to turn it on. The 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13. Turn it on all the way up. Fill it in with your creative color. And you're going to bring down that white light down over your body. You're going to flush your body. You're going to visualize that you are underneath a waterfall of white light. This healing, this awareness is yours. It is who you are. You're not separate from it. You are that. So bring it into your space. Be this space. Be this awareness. Now. And when you get up. Okay? So I want to welcome you back into the room. You can open your eyes and you're going to sustain this grounding. This is the present moment. You are balanced. You are aware. You are in charge of your emotions. You are aware of yourself. Thank you so much for joining me here today, and I hope I was able to answer some of your questions. If you have more, please go ahead and welcome. Your questions are amazing. Thank you so much and love you. Bye-bye. Thank you all for being here. You guys are amazing. Thank you, Jacob. So good to have you here. Jez, I'm so glad you could catch us. Brenda, I'll see you soon. Much love. Bye-bye.